Let's just get straight into the bit. Hello internet, welcome to Gold Guard Whitey. Alright guys, today we're going to be making a breakdown of the master of martial arts, the king of the Chinese basketball, Qiang. Let's get into it. Alright, so firstly, let's talk about what Qiang actually is. What does he actually do? Well, Qiang is a slasher forward. He is a slasher small forward who is actually decent at mid-range too, and good enough at three-pointers. But Qiang's main weapon is his ability to actually attack the rim from the inside. He is a slasher main. Now let's take a look at his abilities, his stats. So as you can see here, he's got 42 3 points. That's actually not that high at all for a character like Qiang, but I'd say that's only fair. Having a good 3-point rating while you're incredibly good at actually attacking the rim would be a bit too much. But yeah, Qiang has 42 3 points, which is pretty low. Still, it doesn't make him useless at the 3-point line, but again, it is pretty low. He's got a 60 mid-range, actually pretty small. For someone who is a small forward, that's actually a pretty low mid-range stat, but that doesn't make it bad. He's still a decent mid-range shooter. He's got 70 close shot, fairly high for a small forward, one of the highest in the entire game actually. He's got 54 dunk, very low. That's actually a very low dunk stat for a dunker like Qiang, but don't worry, it still will actually be good enough. You're not gonna miss those many dunks with 54 still. Trust me, you are gonna hit a lot of dunks with Qiang. So 32 steal, not too good. Dribble 26, pretty terrible. Pass at 30, actually really low for a small forward too, but doesn't really matter that much. 63 speed, actually really good speed for a small forward. Qiang is a pretty speedy character, and this stat doesn't actually lie, unlike White. But yeah, 63 speed actually true to Qiang. He is actually a pretty speedy small forward. 70 jump, one of the highest in the entire game. Really good jump stat for a small forward. He's one of the characters that has the highest jump in the entire game, and it definitely comes in useful. And then the rest are rebound at 40, block 48, 42 power. His power is better than some small forwards, but it's not by much. But yeah, I guess it's good to actually know that it is slightly better than other small forwards, making him a better dunk blocker than, say, someone like Dora, someone like Greta. He still is a better dunk blocker. So with that being said, I do recommend that you give Qiang speed and actually give him a little bit of power as well. And believe it or not, give him a little bit of 3 points as well. Qiang is a very versatile scorer. He's very good at slashing. He's only decent at mid-range, and he's pretty bad at 3 points, but in all honesty, if you give him the right build, he becomes very useful. So again, what I want you guys to actually give Qiang would be mostly speed, a decent amount of 3 points, and just a little bit of power. Power to just, consistently make him a good blocker against SFs who are not power build. Decent amount of 3-pointers so that he actually sinks a decent amount of his 3-pointers, and mostly speed so that he actually has the option to go to the 3-point line instead of just always slashing inside. He can switch it up, and he can be a decent 3-pointer as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at his multiple skills. Alright, as you can see on his exclusive skills, it's actually a very unique spread. So Firstly, let's take a look at his SF skills. So we got fadeaway mid shot, fairly useful now. Didn't used to be as useful, but after the buff, it is fairly useful now, especially after Ace update. You can get it. It's not really, it's not a must-have, but it is a nice skill to actually have on your arsenal. Next up, we have double pump. Definitely useful. And Qiang is one of the characters who actually benefits even more than other small forwards when using double pump, so make sure to get this for Qiang. It is actually very useful. Next up, we have flash shot. It's a character that basically everyone who can learn flash shot should have flash shot. Get this man, get this. It's a must-have. Now onto his exclusive skills. Firstly, we have enhanced jump. Again, get this. This is basically just going to allow you to dunk or lay up from way further away, and at the same time, believe it or not, smart layup from a further distance away as well. Smart layup, this is his main scoring, or his second main scoring method, aside from dunking. This is his second main scoring method, smart layup. Make sure to get this. It's incredibly important for someone like Qiang. And with the enhanced jump, it's even more deadlier than it was before. So yeah, make sure to get smart layup as well. Max it out as soon as possible. Next up, we have Euro step. Now, this isn't really the easiest skill, or it's not really the hardest skill to actually block. It's pretty easy to block this if you know the timing, where you can block a smart layup and a Euro step on the same jumping time. It's just positioning. So it's not really the most dangerous move in the entire world, but it's still pretty essential since it's one of his main weapons when it actually comes to scoring. Make sure to actually get this skill as well, even if it's not the best skill in the entire world. It is his other level 4. So yeah, it's still nice to have. You can actually still score with it. So yeah, make sure to get Euro step as well and max it out. Lastly, we have rapid dribble move. This skill basically allows you to dribble faster and gives you an extra dribble at the end of your animation at level 4. And when you actually reach that extra dribble animation, you can still dribble, and not only that, it also gives you a chance of actually not being knocked down when you bump into someone while dribbling. It's a pretty useful skill to have. Not really a must-have, but honestly, I'd still take this. It definitely comes in handy, especially the giving you a chance to not knock yourself down part. I'd say it's still worth it to actually have this and to actually max it out to actually get the effect, So yeah, I still recommend that you guys go and get this skill as well. So yeah, all his skills pretty much for just slashing inside the inside of the basket. It's basically just to attack the basket. That is all his skills are focused on, and that's why that is Qiang's specialty. It is just to keep on attacking the basket. So anyways guys, let's go ahead and go inside a match where I use some of these skills, and let's talk about Qiang some more. Alright, so firstly, let's talk about the teammates that you're actually going to want to get when playing Qiang. And honestly, you just need to keep in mind that you're going to want to get a rebounder and a point guard. That's about it. I'd say that is the most effective that you can get with Qiang. Just give him a point guard and a center. And I mean a point guard, like a pure point guard. I think that is the best way that you can actually use Qiang. He is going to require an actual point guard since he's going to be the main scorer. Since he's going to be a slasher, it needs to be a pure point guard and a center. So I'd say a good center that you can actually pair up with him is someone like Emma or someone like Robbie. Characters that are actually very good at screening the point guard. And as for the point guard, you may want a Nana, maybe a Jackie, maybe a Mo-chan. Those guys may be really good as well. They're good scorers while also actually being a good passer. Nana and Mo-chan, they're very good passers. But more importantly, they can actually shoot 3-pointers. So again, you're gonna want a pure point guard and a rebounder as your teammates when you use Qiang. Now let's talk about the matchups that you're gonna want to get and you're gonna want to avoid when you actually use Qiang. And for the matchups that you're actually gonna want to get, you're gonna want to actually match up against shooters. You're gonna be very good against shooters because most shooting guards are going to have a hard time trying to stop Qiang. With the exception of Conan, most shooters or most shooting guards, they're going to get dunked on. And not all SFs can actually stop him consistently if they don't use pure power. With, the exception of Havoc, Vin, and maybe Randy. Those guys may be able to stop you even if they're not full power. But yeah, it's not going to be too consistent. It's not as consistent as other characters. But yeah, you're going to want to actually match up against shooters. You're going to be able to dunk on them, and if you're good on defense, you're still going to be able to actually lock them down. And as for matchups that you're actually want to avoid, I'd say you're going to want to avoid other dunkers which are power forwards. Characters like Zachary, characters like Edward, Pinky, Lightning, characters like that who actually dunk. Since, as I've said before, Qiang is pretty fast, but he's not fast enough where he can actually consistently escape those guys. And if those guys know what they're doing, they will consistently stop Qiang since they do have better power than Qiang. Although, trying to predict that smart layup with that Euro step, or is he gonna dunk, it's still gonna be quite a challenge if they solo. But yeah, they're gonna be more effective at actually stopping Qiang because of their greater power most of the time, while also being able to dunk on Qiang if Qiang isn't full power, because he's just an SF. Again, they have better power, which means they can still dunk on Qiang, while Qiang might have a hard time trying to dunk on those dunkers. So yeah, you're gonna want to avoid other dunkers or the defensive power forwards such as Nikolai, Alto, and Ranger. Elise definitely one of the hardest counters for Qiang right now. Robbie too might be a big counter, but yeah, those guys you're gonna want to avoid while you're gonna want to actually match up against shooters. Lastly, let's talk about Qiang's placement on meta. And Qiang is not meta, and I'd say he's effective enough that he can actually counter, or not really counter, but match up against meta fairly enough. He's not going to dominate them, he's not going to do the very best, but he should be good enough to actually, keep up with it somehow. But yeah, I'd say Qiang right now is stopped in the middle of the board. He's not going to be dominated by meta, but he's also not really a guy that's going to dominate meta or do the very best at it. So yeah, at the moment, Qiang is just a very mid character when it comes to meta. Again, overall though, I'd say Qiang is still a very good character, but compared to others, it's not that good, or he's not that good compared to others. But yeah, if you want to try out Qiang, feel free to try him out. You still should do fairly well against other players. You still should actually keep up against other characters, even though they are meta, or even characters that are not meta. You still should be able to keep up with them. And I do recommend that you use Qiang, even though I don't use him that much myself, but he is a fairly fun character to actually use. So yeah, anyways guys, that's it for this video. I hope that you've learned something. I hope that it's been entertaining somehow, and I'll see you on the next one.